And here we go.
Welcome to the Great Work Insights Podcast by the O.C. Tanner Institute, the show that features the people, the professionals, the thought leaders, and the coolest companies. And now your host, the man navigating the discussion about the culture, the organized chaos, and the best practices that compel great work, Todd Nordstrom.
Let me ask you a question. Do you love your job? Let me ask you an even bigger question. Do you love your life? Are the two connected? They're big questions, aren't they? Immediately, your mind probably wanders into realms of thinking, well, okay, do I love my life? Well, yeah, I love my spouse, or I love my friends, or I love my kids, or my pets. You might be thinking something like, well, I love certain parts of my life, so what is it that could be better? What don't you love? What's missing in your life, or what's missing from your job? Most people, when they think about that question, come to realization that the thing that they're missing in life or their career boils down to a simple dream. It's an image of sorts that they had of themselves when they were younger. Many people are saddened that they haven't reached a level of satisfaction that they once thought was possible, that they haven't reached that dream. And because our jobs are often the place where we believe we can make the biggest impact in the world, they're kind of the place where we measure our success. A lot of the dissatisfaction in our lives actually comes from our work. In fact, oodles of studies suggest that employee disengagement keeps getting worse. Dissatisfaction in the workplace and with our jobs is at an all-time high. The question is, do you go to work feeling disengaged? Do you feel uninspired, or maybe even dreading your work day? Maybe even feeling like you're just passing time until the day is over, or the week is over, or your entire career is over. Our guest today has an interesting perspective on finding a job and discovering a life that you truly love. He's a Forbes and Huffington Post contributor. He's the author of the book, How to Find a Job, Career, and Life You Love. And he's not just your typical thought leader or guru. He's not one of those guys who just talks about finding the right career. He actually lives it. Our guest, Louis Efron, is an award-winning Fortune 300 human resources executive who today goes to work every morning at one of the, I might say, one of the most recognized companies in the world, a little automobile company, manufacturer named Tesla, a company that is being credited for changing the world. Louis, so glad to have you on the show. Welcome.
Todd, thank you for having me. Excited to be here for sure.
Before we dive into finding a career and life we love, let's talk a little bit about you. What exactly is your job, your title at Tesla, and where does a company that's known globally for innovation like Tesla find a guy like you? Where did you come from? What's your history?
Fantastic. No, I have literally the dream job for me at least. It's I'm the head of global employee engagement and leadership development for Tesla Motors. Funny thing is, a very quick story. When I first told people in the company my job, somebody asked me, said, "Oh, I didn't realize so many people were getting married at Tesla." So it obviously has nothing to do with that, but it's a perfect position. My path has been very non-traditional, moving into what I'm doing today. Mm-hmm. I started out as a theatrical director. I have an undergraduate from Cal State Fullerton in theatrical directing.
Wow.
And after I graduated, I moved to New York City to pursue my dream to work on Broadway. And when I got there, my first dream job was as a bellhop, and then several other odd jobs, and ultimately landed an amazing job with a Broadway theater producer and manager. Mm-hmm. And I spent the next 8 years working Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway, doing some union work in the theater. And ultimately, as much as I love the theater, it was a huge labor of love. It's very difficult to make any money doing it, and I was sick of moving out of apartments late at night because I couldn't pay for the rent. So I decided to make a transition into the corporate world and try to find something that I really love that fit with something to do with helping people and improving the world. And the medical industry was always something on my radar because of the fact that helping people live better lives. And also I had lots of experience in labor relations. So I made a transition into a company called Stryker, a medical device company. It's a Fortune 300 medical device company, remarkable organization. And I spent 11 years there, and I had an amazing career working in first labor relations, and then head of HR for a manufacturing facility, head of HR for global distribution and for sales, and then worked all over the globe with them, living in Europe and Asia. And I finally transitioned to another company where I got a great offer for a global software company. So spent 2 years working head of international HR for them. And then transitioned out into my own business. I've been writing since I've been very, very little, and I got a chance to write for Forbes, which was a huge just opportunity in my life, and something beyond belief. So I started writing for Forbes, Huffington Post as a contributor as well. I finished my book, How to Job Career and Life You Love, which you mentioned. Started doing speaking and consulting. And then I just moved my family back to England. My wife's from Scotland. Our first daughter was born in England. And I figured I had my own business. I could live wherever I want. So I moved her back close to her family. And 6 months after that, I got a call from a good friend of mine and colleague that I worked with for 11 years over at Stryker, Mark Lipscomb, who's now the VP of HR over at Tesla. And he said, Louis, I got this amazing opportunity. We really need someone to come head up employee engagement for Tesla. And I'm like, wow, this is the dream job. It's like a big purpose lab for everything I've been writing about, speaking about. So sign me up. So we had just had our furniture delivered literally a month and a half earlier after coming over in the boat. And I told my wife we're going back, and she's an amazing lady and supported me. And we packed her stuff up and came back. So here I am. I just want to bring up something obvious here. Listening to your experience, your path, your credentials, it would appear that you've had a blessed career. You've been able to do things that you love. It might actually appear that you're the last person in the world that should be giving advice on overcoming disengagement or job dissatisfaction. Has your career history been, has it been a bowl of cherries? Because it kind of sounds like this is a guy that only gets to do what he loves. One great experience that leads to another. Well, I wish it was a bowl full of cherries. Actually, I definitely would say I had a blessed career. There's no doubt about it across the board. It's been amazing. I had a chance to meet with some and work with some amazing leaders and coaches and mentors in my life that has helped me. I've had some incredible jobs. So it's definitely not been all rainbows and unicorns for sure. I've had, like I said, like great leaders, but I've worked in some really bad situations with poor leaders and organizations I didn't like and jobs I didn't like. They were a misfit for me. Mm-hmm. And, but I learned from those too. I got to say, I've learned probably sometimes more from my bad experiences in my career than my good experiences, but I always kept focused on where I wanted to go. I knew where I wanted to go. I've always been a very strategic person in my life as far as thinking about my short and long-term goals and what I want to achieve. So I kept the course, and I took the good and the bad for what it was, and I incorporated it in. I learned and grew from all the experiences, but it's been a remarkable roller coaster. But a lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of trial and error along the way to getting where I am today. But an amazing journey.
The title of your book would most likely be something that would be attractive to a person actively seeking work or someone who hates their current position. Is that true? Is that the only audience?
Well, yes and yes, but my book was written for everyone desiring to live a happier and more fulfilled life. I mean, when I was writing this book, I was thinking really about my journey and how I've got to where I am and all the people in my life as I've been traveling through my career and dealing in HR with thousands and thousands of people on journeying their sort of navigating their career. And so it's really anybody that wants to live a better life. If you're really, if you're looking for something new, my book will help you find the right fit, ask the right questions, find the right fit. If you hate your job, absolutely despise what you're doing, it'll help you understand why and whether you need to try to re-engage and think about things differently or realign yourself in life. Mm-hmm. For everybody in the middle, essentially. I ultimately wrote this book to help people think differently about their lives. And one of my favorite quotes ever is by Dr. Wayne Dyer. I have it in my book. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So my mission of the book is trying to get people to start asking the right questions, coming up with the right answers for them, and just seeing life through a different perspective. Because I find too often in my travels and in life now as I'm getting older, I'm seeing a lot of people laying on their deathbed, unfortunately, as grim as that sounds, starting to reflect back on their life and thinking, God, I should have done this, I regret not doing this. And that's such a shame, and it's such a silly thing when people are afraid or embarrassed or lacking confidence to live the life that they want and to be fulfilled and happy. Because we have one chance at doing this, and I think it's so important that we do it early in your career. So wherever you are in your career, beginning or end, or just in life in general, looking for starting your career, it's really about asking the right questions, make sure you're aligned correctly so you can live the happiest life you possibly can. You get, like I said, one chance to do it, and it's a shame not to really fulfill that.
You and I have known each other for quite some time, and we've had conversations in the past about alignment. I want you to talk about alignment more because it's one of those harder words to grasp than you think. When we're in these situations of an unhappiness or dissatisfaction, we don't like our employer, or we don't like our boss, or we don't like our job. A lot of emotions get in the middle. It kind of makes us feel like maybe we're not good at what we do. It makes us think that people don't like us. But what's really going on? Is it misalignment, or is it people don't like us? Talk more about alignment.
Well, it could be both, but I'm going to focus on the alignment side because it is definitely a question of alignment for sure in life. Yeah. I mean, we spend majority of our time, of our living years, working, and if you're in the wrong company and the wrong culture, or you have the wrong boss, or you're in the wrong job, you're simply not going to be as happy as you possibly can in life. So when I'm talking about alignment, I'm talking about the intersection between passion, interest, strength, that all come together to sort of highlight your purpose in life, really why you were born, what you're really going to leave behind. So alignment can certainly, having the right alignment can turn a low performer into a high performer. And I've seen it time and time again in my career. And it can also turn, the lack of alignment can turn a high performer into a low performer. And I've been in both boats. I mean, I've been in situations where I've been in the wrong area in life, wrong job, and my performance has suffered because of it, and obviously become unhappy, and everything else sort of unravels. So it's a very common issue, but it sort of feeds, the lack of alignment feeds the other issues you may be having in life around happiness. And the only way to gain alignment is to really start taking some time in life, really take a break, jump off the treadmill, get out of the rut, and sort of clear your head and start thinking about your life and what you really want, and ask the right questions. That's what my book's trying to do, is really get people to ask those questions and get the right answers, and then start doing something about it to pursue it and make things better. So alignment is absolutely key in life.
Your book actually, it presents a distinct self-discovery process. It's what you call a 30-day challenge. What is that, and what does the reader take away from that 30-day challenge?
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up. I mean, the 30-day challenge is sort of the heart of this change I'm trying to create with the book. It's a structured challenge to help people really define and become the person they truly want to be, and not acting like someone else, but becoming more of who they really are, their true selves. So the challenge encourages and inspires people to look at your life in different perspective, and to break down learned barriers. Because a lot of times as children, we learn why we can't be successful in something as opposed to learning why we can be successful. So it's about designing your life, defining your life as to what you really want, and giving you the confidence to live your life the way you desire for 30 days. And the theory behind this is, if you could be successful in being who you are and being who you want to be for 30 days in a row, and if you can't do it, you got to keep on trying. You got to keep trying. You got to just do it until you accomplish it. Once you get it for 30 days, you can do it again for another 30 days, and again for another 30 days. And essentially what this does is, my process is, it breaks down massive life positive transformation into bite-sized, attainable chunks. Because all too often you can get overwhelmed in life, and you think, God, how am I going to change my life to what I want it to be? And it's just overwhelming. But if you start looking at it from a 30-day perspective, small chunks, can I do it for 30 days? And you sort of build confidence, and it continues to perpetuate itself, and then it has huge effects in your life. And this is actually based on, in addition to me creating this and something I live by and use in my life to make my life better, it's actually based on a theory by Dr. David Harold Fink, who was a psychiatrist some time ago, who developed this model, and it has transformed lives for decades. I mean, the questions we're asking in the book, that sort of the baseline to this challenge, are incredibly effective. They're simple, It's a powerful process. And the best part is it truly improves your life. Like I can personally attest to it. So I encourage everybody to hopefully get a chance to do this and see the impact on their own.
You just in your answer you just said the word confidence a handful of times. I think it's interesting that you often talk about low self-confidence or confidence in relation to a job. Is confidence is that a personal issue or is it a misalignment issue? Because I think many of us would relate it to something like dating. People who get offended if their date doesn't like them, but who wants to create a relationship with someone who wants to create a relationship with someone who doesn't like them? Is confidence is that a personal issue? Is it a misalignment issue? What is it?
Well, you're definitely right when it comes to dating, because unfortunately I've experienced a lot of lack of alignment in the past on a few dates, and it just sort of makes you want to run out of the restaurant or bar. But when you're talking about jobs, on the job front, a lack of alignment definitely feeds low confidence, which then certainly becomes a personal issue for sure. So, for example, with me, I think I've mentioned before, and I've been in organizations and jobs that were just a wrong fit. And I just felt like I could do nothing right. My ideas didn't matter. My performance began to slip as I started doubting myself, essentially, just doubting who I was and what I could bring to the table. And that started to cause me to lose confidence in myself, and my performance then started slipping because I was thinking about, am I doing the right thing? And am I going to make a mistake here? So I started making mistakes, and then it becomes a vicious cycle, right? And then the more lack of confidence you feel, the more you feel like you just want to just essentially run. So if you're doing something, though, that you love, you're passionate about, that plays to what you do best, you'll have more chance and more opportunity to win. And wins create confidence, essentially, right? So the more wins, the more confidence. On the other side, if you keep losing and you get beaten up every day because you're not winning, your confidence naturally goes down. It happens across the board, whether you're in the job or sports or theater, whatever it is. That's the way it works. So the right alignment in life definitely feeds confidence. So does gaining more experience, which I want to mention too, because if you're in a role where you're fully aligned, you're doing great work, and you're early in your career, and you're in the right alignment in life, then the more experience you get, the greater you're going to become, and the more powerful your confidence is going to show as a result of that. And so essentially, you're less likely to suffer low confidence when you're doing things you love, you're passionate about, you're great at, you have experience in. And even in situations where people have severe psychological trauma because of things that happened in the past, it's not always a fix, but it certainly will make things better in almost any circumstance to have that proper alignment when it comes to confidence.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think most of us listening have been through those situations where you kind of ask yourself, like, what? Wait a second. Am I not good at this? Or like, holy cow, I'm really good at this. Louis, Tesla has changed the automotive industry and kind of changed the realm of possibility, I think, in creating such a rogue new path. Can the listeners do the same thing? What can we all learn from innovation? What can we all learn from, like Tesla's ability to stretch the realm of possibility?
Yeah, I can answer that in 3 words. Nothing is impossible. And this essentially sums up. Yeah, it sums up Tesla. Tesla Motors is an organization that's transitioning the world to electric cars as an American car company. It's a remarkable accomplishment. And I love quotes. I'll just tell you this other quote I really, really love by Dorothea Brand, who is a self-help writer. And she wrote, to guarantee success, act as if it's impossible to fail. And that sums up Tesla, sums up the mindset of successful people, sums up Elon Musk, that's why one of the reasons he's had such success with Tesla Motors and his other ventures, because failure is simply not an option. And when you relate that to people in the jobs and outside of Tesla, what I like to say is that if you want and believe in something in life, you must commit to it and you must stay the course until you achieve it. It's how, honestly, I've always lived my life. And the bottom line, if you believe you're going to fail, you will. I guarantee it. However, on the flip side, if you believe you're going to win and you're going to succeed, and that's all you see, you're going to win. I've had done tons of things in my life where I've thrown out there crazy ideas, and people said to me, "God, what if it doesn't work? What if you fail? And it could be terrible, and this and that." I said, "I'm not going to fail. I'm going to deliver." It sounds maybe egotistical, and of course we all fail, and I've certainly failed in things I've done. But if you focus on the failure, that's when you're guaranteed to fail. So I'm trying to really, I think the best lesson you can take out of Tesla, which is a remarkable organization changing the world every day, is that you have the same ability as people. We all have the same ability to change our lives in remarkable ways by thinking differently and by thinking with success in mind and not ever letting go of that. And I think that's the lesson I learned every day when I'm coming into Tesla that reinforces the way I feel. That's why it's such a great place to work for me.
That is great. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, try and fail, you get the exact same result as not trying. Hey, so, with this, with your purpose in mind, what's next for Louis Efron?
Well, my life has been just remarkably exciting, and it seems like it's just exploding with opportunity around my purpose in life. And so I'm right now working on my next book.
Oh, nice.
And it's a book actually. Yeah, it's a dream come true because I have my first book out, and to have a chance to write and help other people with my writing is a dream come true. So this book is really about going to help organizations transform their employee engagement and their culture and their business success as a result of it. So I can't reveal the title yet, unfortunately, but I'm really, really excited about it. Stay tuned, and hopefully get a chance to speak about this in the future.
Yeah,
near future.
Exciting. We'll have to reconnect when it gets published. If listeners want to learn more about you or your current book, where's the best place to find you?
Definitely lots of ways. My website is louisefron.com. It's LOUISEFRON.com. My Twitter is @LouisEfron. I have a Facebook page, which is Louis Efron, The Voice of Purpose. My book is available on Amazon. As you mentioned, Todd, thank you for mentioning that. I write for Forbes and Huffington Post, so you can find me on both those places. Love meeting new people, so please link in. I have a pretty big LinkedIn following, which I love to sort of speak to, so please link in there. And I publish my speaking schedule on my website as well as my LinkedIn page, so if you want to see me speak live, I'm all around the place.
Sweet. Always a pleasure, Louis. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Todd. Thanks.
Feeling inspired, motivated, encouraged? We want to hear from you. Rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. And be sure to visit octanner.com for more podcasts and how you can inject great work and employee recognition into your organization. Now go out and make a difference within your organization.